A regular meeting of the City Council held in the Council Chamber on Thursday, March 23rd, 2017, at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on March 21st, 2017, at 11:06 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Kindly double-check your cell phones and silence them. Councilors that are absent: Councilor Lovely, Councilor President Milo presided. Councilor Sargent moved to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous minutes. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Kindly stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Fury.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hearings.
Public testimony.
Oh, public testimony. I always want to. Okay, we have John Boris. Mr. Boris?
Yes. I'm here on the housing issue.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
Can you state your name and your address, please?
I'm John, let me get my notes. John Boris. I reside at 5 Bedford Street in Salem. And I'd like to speak. I've been very active for over 50 years in my community here in Salem, as many of you know. Anywhere from Park Commissioner, Licensing Board, and presently Housing Authority for the last 15 or so years. I have come here tonight to speak in favor and offer my support for Kim Driscoll's appointment to our board via the thing that's before you tonight about the bylaw change. And I'd like to go on record that I believe that her vast experience in government and law will be a great asset to the Salem Housing Authority. And I thank you for your support.
Thank you. Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. It's Tim Jenkins, 18 Broad Street. I think I'm speaking about a similar matter to Mr. Boris. And one of the issues there was conflict of interest. And I'm concerned about that. Apparently, we've had city solicitor weigh in on it. I just wanted to briefly read two things. One is a conflict of interest is a situation in which a person or organization is involved in multiple interests, financial or otherwise, one of which could possibly corrupt the motivation or decision-making of that individual or organization. The presence of a conflict of interest is independent of the occurrence of impropriety. We often conclude that, but there is no necessarily connection. It's just you have conflicting interests, and you may not be able to make decisions without having to weigh both sets of interests and then deciding in favor of one. So the last thing I wanted to say was the best single way to teach ethics is by example. Remember that reputation and integrity are your most valuable assets and can be lost in a heartbeat. It's far easier to preach about ethical standards than to live up to them, and living up to ethical standards is the best possible teaching method anyway. So I just believe that why avoid possibly opening yourself up to being questioned on something like this when you have such powers to appoint and make sure that you get the right people on this committee, at least while you're the mayor. So, and I understand there is another role of another government body, and I would hope that that government body somewhere in the city can find somebody with equal talents or talents close to equal to that of our mayor. So I hope we can avoid this change, personally. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearings.
We have an order for Comcast to install a conduit on Traders Way to a building located at 29 Traders Way.
Anyone here to speak in favor?
Good evening. My name is Dave Flewelling from Comcast, Woburn, Massachusetts. I'd like to speak in favor of the petition to be able to bring the Comcast service to the customer at 29 Traders Way.
Thank you. Is there anyone Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak opposed? Any councilors have any questions? Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, the conduit the connection as you go, that has to cross the street as part of that?
Yes.
How long does that generally take as a process to put that trench in?
The construction?
Yeah.
We typically do half of the road at a time, so the traffic will flow. It'll be backfilled, it'll be excavated, the pipe will be put in, it'll be backfilled, and then we'll move across the road a section at a time to allow the traffic to
What
flow.
does that take, about a day per?
Yeah, about that.
All right. The other question I'd ask is which, because Traders Way is a pretty congested road, as we all know, which connection are you making, or from what point? Because the satellite photo was a little bit, where's it connecting to?
It's to bring service to the back of 29 Traders Way, but there's an existing vault out in the
That's the building you guys are
roadway.
in, or is that?
I'm sorry?
Is that the building you guys are in here in Salem, or?
The vault that we're coming out of is in conjunction with that vault that goes to the Comcast Payment Center. We're going to tee off of that one.
Okay, and so which building are you guys servicing with this?
It's going to be Planet Fitness in the rear of 29 Traders Way,
Okay.
way down the end. But they will all be able to get the service if they did want it, when we bring that service in.
Oh, thank you. Are there any other questions?
Any other questions? No, Councilor Epley?
I move that the hearing be closed.
Oh, Councilor Epley moves that the hearing be closed. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor Sargent?
I move approval, please.
Councilor Sargent moves for approval. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Thank you. Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Kerry Murphy to serve on the Board of Health with a term to expire on March 23rd, 2020.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you. I move this be held under the rules.
Councilor Famico moves that this be held under the rules. Councilor Famico? All those in favor? Okay. Further appointments. Councilor Terrio. Oh,
We
go
have
ahead.
the mayor's appointment of Fred Atkins to serve on the Salem Harbor Port Authority with a term to expire March 23rd, 2019.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move this be held under the rules.
Councilor Terrio moves that this be held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Nicholas Berard to serve as a constable with a term to expire February 21st, 2018.
Councilor Ryan.
Move received and placed on file.
Councilor Ryan moves that this be received and placed on file. All those in favor? Opposed? Further appointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Michael Doby to serve as a constable with a term to expire on February 21st, 2018.
Councilor Ryan.
Move received and placed on file.
Councilor Ryan moves that this be received and placed on file. All those in favor? All those opposed? Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Fernando Valadio to serve as a constable with a term to expire on January 27th, 2020.
Councilor Ryan.
Move it received and placed on file.
Councilor Ryan moves that this be received and placed on file. All those in favor? All those opposed? Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $75,000 from Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account to be expended for the negotiated sick leave buyback provisions as needed.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This is largely a routine matter. This is part of our union contracts, and this will get us through the rest of the year.
Okay, any further discussion? On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an
Councilor
appropriation of $2,500 from fund balance free cash account to the Health Department Rodent Control account.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. As many of us will unfortunately recall, last summer was a banner year for rodents in the city, and because the winter hasn't really been as much of a winter as we had kind of hoped, this is in anticipation of covering some of the rodents, the extermination needs for this year as well.
Okay, any further discussion? On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a resolution approving submission of the statement of interest to Massachusetts Building Authority by the Superintendent of Schools for the Horace Mann Laboratory School.
Counselor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for adoption.
Counselor Giroux moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, this is really step one of a very long process that, as we all know, Horace Mann is in desperate need to be redone, and so this is the start. Do I do a roll call vote for this? And I need to do a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Any further discussion? Counselor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. The good Ward 5 Council and I have attended some 20-plus meetings on this moving Horace Mann School over the last year or so. This is something that we could wait, put into committee, and talk about it and vote on it at our next meeting, but we really don't want to do that. I strongly recommend that we vote passage on it tonight and move the project forward so that the Horace Mann School can take not the first step, but one of several first steps to moving the school to South Campus. So I encourage all of us to vote in favor of this tonight, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk?
Counselor Terrio?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Giroux?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of approval of submission of the statement of interest to the Mass School Building Authority for Horace Mann, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have the mayor submitting an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Boards, Commissions, Committees, and Authorities, Board of Health, Certificate of Fitness of Rented Dwelling Unit, Apartment, or Tenement.
Councilor Ryan.
I move to refer this to Committee on Ordinance, Legal Affairs and co-post it with the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a big change as far as like apartments and stuff like that, so I just want to have it in committee, have the whole council do it, and then get it back out.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Madam Clerk?
Received after the deadline of Tuesday noon, a resolution approving the statement of interest to Massachusetts School Building Authority for the Salem High School for deficiencies and the priority category for which an application may be submitted.
Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. So, City Clerk, I am moving this to committee on, no?
Move for suspension.
Suspend the
I'm
rules.
moving for a suspension of the rules to allow the matter to come before council due to the late file, which is Rule Section 28A.
Okay, any objection? Seeing none?
And
Councilor
then
Giroux?
Thank you, Madam President. And
Gonna do
then, City Clerk, I'm moving that this be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. What? That we're doing this,
Special
that
meeting.
we're doing this special meeting on the 29th,
Yep.
and that's where I would like it to be referred.
Okay, and this is a late file, there's no
And-
discussion, and
No discussion.
there it goes. Thank you. Mayor's informational page. Did I miss? Oh, excuse me, all those in favor? Opposed? That matter carries.
Okay, there you go.
Mayor's informational page.
We have a letter from Mayor Driscoll requesting a meeting to be held on the proposed ordinance relative to constables, which was referred to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Ryan.
Move received and placed on file.
Councilor Ryan moves that this be received and placed on file.
Under discussion.
Under
I
discussion?
just want to say that it's going to be coming up on the next OLA meeting along with Community Benefits Agreement, and so it will be back before the next council meeting.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The matter carries. Further, Mayor's informational page.
We have a letter from Mayor Driscoll sharing correspondence she received from Brigadier General Albin Erzik, formerly of Salem, whom the mayor sent a city seal to in recognition of his 100th birthday.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that to be received and placed on file, and his wishing the Brigadier General a happy 100th birthday and many more to come. I'm I'm sure he's retired someplace nice and warm, but a former son of Salem who served our country admirably for a number of years, and I wish him many more.
Thank you. Counselor Fury?
Madam President, I had the distinct pleasure and privilege of meeting the general when they dedicated the tank on a Memorial Park. And he had the opportunity, and he got that tank, that real tank that was really used in combat, to come down 128 and come into Salem and be part of a display on Memorial Park. And he was there. What an exemplary role model. He was one of the right-hand people to General Patton in the invasion of in the World War II during the German front, and he was right there with General Patton. And it's due to his diligence and hard work, and it was really remarkable just being in there. I got goosebumps sitting next to him as the commander that he served. I read books and materials about General Patton and him. They were all amazing, stellar. It was really the greatest generation serving our country, and he is a really remarkable role model of the greatest generation coming from Salem to serve our country. And now turning 100 years old, remarkable. Great DNA to have gone through World War II, and they went to siege, and they fought in tanks in adverse weather. Amazing. Thank you, Madam Senator.
Thank you. Counselor Sargent, then Counselor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few words. It said that that General Patton led our army through Europe. Well, General Erzik led General Patton's army through Europe. In a military formation, they have somebody walk in to somebody at the point, same with the tanks. And the point man's usually the man who gets killed first in a battle. So his tanks were the point people leading our army through Europe in World War II, heading towards Berlin. Now, at one point he was in Paris, and if everybody knows about Easy Company from History Channel, they were surrounded in Bastogne. And as they were heading in to Bastogne, the soldiers leaving told the paratroopers, "You're going to be surrounded." And they said, "Well, we're paratroopers, we're supposed to be surrounded." So they were stuck there, and they had to hold those crossroads. General Erzik's tank division was in Paris, and they left Paris to go to Bastogne to bail those guys out. The tanks never stopped for 1 second. They slept in the tanks, they kept going. And I saw on History Channel a recreation. He was in the tank, standing out of the tank driving, and a shell hit him where the torrent turns. A German shell hit him. He turned around and he looked. It was a dud. If that wasn't a dud, things would have been much different. But that's the kind of guy he was. He's about this tall, carved out of stone. He looks like he could out wrestle you today. And just what a great story, and what a good guy. Just a kid from Derby Street, growing up in Salem. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Dibble, then Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Madam President. I also had the privilege of meeting General Erzik a number of years ago, quite a couple decades ago, actually. Good at-large counselor is correct. The guy was made out of steel. He actually hugged me, and little guy at 80 years old or so back then, 20 years ago, made out of steel. If there were no objections to my fellow counselors, I'd like to read his thank you letter back to the mayor and back to the city of Salem and what he has to say to Salem.
Being none, go right ahead.
Okay, very good. This letter is from Brigadier General Albin F. Erzik, retired, to the mayor of Salem. Your Honor, I was astonished, overwhelmed, and delightfully surprised to be presented on my 100th birthday celebration with a colorful, attractive seal of the city, together with a very special birthday message from you. Of course, it was totally unexpected and quite impressive for me to be so recognized. I marvel, and I am most impressed that there was an awareness in the city that I had reached this unusual milestone. I send to you and those who may have assisted my deepest, warmest, most heartfelt appreciation for honoring me in such a manner. The award is something very special, and I will always greatly treasure it. Now we get to the good part. I am particularly proud to have been so recognized. I had a fantastic boyhood, young manhood in the city, which I have always greatly loved. My roots in the city are very deep. I was born in Salem, attended its public schools, played on its many baseball fields, graduated from its high school, left from it to go to Mass State College, now UMass, and left Salem to go to war. In later years, the city has previously honored me. Those roots were earlier planted by my dad, Felix, who served unprecedented years as a city ward councilor. During my lifetime, I have traveled extensively and have met many people. When asked the proverbial, "Where are you from?" I was always very proud to answer Salem, Mass. It is truly amazing at the limited number of whom I met who had never heard of our city. Because of this, it is small wonder why this birthday gift so late in my life is so meaningful, greatly valued, and rewarding. I send my most heartfelt thanks for being so specially recognized and honored. Sincerely and grateful, Albin F. Erzik. It gives me great pleasure to read his letter back to us after his 100th birthday. And what a powerful message he gives back to the Salem. And hopefully the folks at home can appreciate the good start that he had here and who one of Salem's finest became. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Council President. So with this just kind of reminds me of the whole situation of the type of city we actually have here in Salem. When the park was dedicated to this man, it was about 18 years ago, and here on his 100th birthday and the back and forth connection. To me, it just really highlights how people care about each other and the kindness between them. And if you connect that even to other letters, sometimes we get police officers and everything else. It's a community that really just has the kindness and the compassion. And so I thank the mayor for having that sent out. I don't know if it was through her or one of her many brilliant staff members who think of those things, but thank you for her for initiating this and the reflection of what this man did for the community and how as Salem we just really connect with our past and just don't like to forget it. It shows even with this particular man. So I'm just happy that this all encountered, and happy 100th birthday to him.
Thank you. Any further discussion? No? Okay. Thank you to the Brigadier General. And on Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? Matter carries. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Famico, Councilor Gerard, excuse me.
City of Salem and City Council, March 23, 2017, ordered that the monthly financial report dated February 28, 2017, be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, and I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Okay. Any other discussion on Councilor Gerard's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. City Council, March 23rd, 2017.
Waive the reading.
Okay. I just want to say, a City Council resolution relative to immigration and values of the City of Salem. We'll waive the reading. I just want to have this go to the, refer to the special meeting to be held Wednesday, March 29, 2017 at Bentley School, following the ad hoc committee meeting.
Okay. Any discussion?
No discussion, just another option with the sanctuary ordinance and just another option out there, so just to put it there, whether it passes or not, it's another one, so.
Any other discussion on Councilor Ryan's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Ryan.
Okay, let's see, this one, Tag Day. City Council, March 23rd, 2017, ordered that the attached Tag Day application for Salem High School Marine JROTC for 4/2/17, 5/14/17, 6/17/17, 6/24/17 to be granted. Feels like a football play.
Any discussion?
No discussion, just the Tag Day.
On Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, committee reports. Councilor Ryan.
City Council, March 23rd, 2017. The Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of granting certain licenses considered in said matter and would recommend approval. Tag days, Salem High School Track Team, 3/25/17, 6/3/17, and Salem High School Girls Tennis, 4/15/17, 4/22/17.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion, it's just a couple more tag days for the youth of the Salem to raise some money.
Okay. Any other discussion? On Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, March 23, 2017. Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of reviewing ordinances relative to the compensation of the Assistant City Clerk and City Clerk, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter stay in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation? Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. Since this is still in committee, why don't we just, there's no discussion.
No discussion. Okay. Any other discussion? On Councilor Gerard's recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, March 23, 2017. The Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of reviewing ordinances relative to the compensation of the mayor, has considered the said matter and would recommend accepting the ordinance as amended.
Okay, on acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation? Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This was a discussion that we just had prior to this meeting in looking at the compensation of the mayor. We looked at a city salary survey of other mayors and town managers. It was the recommendation of the committee that we amend the ordinance, and I'll just read from where the amendment is. Section 1, amend 2-142A, compensation of Chapter 2, administration, by deleting subsection A in its entirety and replacing it with the following. A, effective January 1st, 2018, the mayor shall receive a salary of $135,000 per annum, and effective January 1st, 2019, the mayor shall receive a salary of $150,000 per annum.
Any further discussion?
Well, we did have a long discussion about this, that I honestly, I expressed a lot of concern about this, where we don't know where the budget's going to be this year, and anything that we add to the budget, then we add to the taxes. So, and I know that the mayor wasn't pushing for this, but the way that this will be doled out is that come January 1st, 2018, the mayor will receive the first $15,000 of the raise, and then the following year, the mayor will receive the second $15,000 of the raise.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Fury.
Madam President, I strongly concur and excited about this opportunity, because that's our primary responsibility, to set the salary of the mayor via the city council. It's our primary role, and I think we need to reflect our responsibility, what the role of the mayor is, who the mayor is. And I've had the pleasure and privilege of serving under a number of distinguished mayors, and Harrington, Salvo, Yusevich, and now Mayor Driscoll. And they're like modern-day CEOs to a multi-million-dollar budget, serving in numerous boards. We're going to talk about the Salem Housing Authority later on tonight, and she's the chairperson, the mayor is the chairperson of the school committee. Over half the budget is there, and many of the people that are sitting with her each night, if you watch her on the meeting or go to the meetings, they make more money than her. Some of the members that are sitting on that very same table that I sat for 12 years. And as the CEO, chief executive of the school committee, chief executive of the city of Salem, I think we need to reflect our responsibility to make sure that that office is filled by the best and the brightest. And we're here to respect and recognize that role, whoever that mayor is, to set a salary. I believe in the poem called Ecclesiastes. There's a time and place for everything under heaven. And it's our responsibility, this time, as our responsibility to set the salary of the mayor. As the chairperson of the Administration of Finance, we are facing some major concerns about the budget and on the state level and the local level, but we need to set the standard that we want the best and the brightest to lead our city. And we need to take that responsibility, and I take full pleasure and responsibility in this election year to do that. And I would be glad to stand wholeheartedly in setting the salary, and this includes $15,000 for the first year and $15,000 for the following year. That would bring them up to about $150,000, the office of the mayor. So I have had the distinct pleasure, and I want to continue to serve it as long as I can, and I think we need to encourage that opportunity to serve in the office. It's only a few feet away, it's not the Grand Canyon. distance from this city council chamber. We have a great relationship with the mayor, Salem Partnership, the state representative, the state senator. Most cities and towns will give their right arm to live in the city of Salem to see what's happening. All 5 major economic engines are going at full steam. Salem State University, the power plant, the courthouses, PBS 6 Museum. It's amazing. These things are taking place. And I think we should reflect and recognize the role and responsibility of the mayor setting that tone, setting that vision. And I'm excited by this opportunity. I wish we could give her more. None of us ran for public office for money. She was a city councilor sitting over there for 4 years, and I had the pleasure of serving with her. Hard-working, dedicated, and as the mayor, as the Ward 5 councilor. And now she's serving as mayor 12 years, and possibly seeking her fourth term if she wishes. So I think we need to recognize that and hope to continue that opportunity. Some people in this very chamber make more money than the mayor in their private jobs. Exceptional cities like the city of Salem are an exception. Exceptional mayors are an exception. We live in an exceptional city of Salem with an exceptional mayor, Mayor Kim Driscoll. And I think I've had that pleasure. I think Mayor LeVac in the past, Councilor Lovely's not here today. He's on vacation. He went through a very difficult situation with Proposition 2.5, cutting back schools, school committee situation. Many people have to be laid off. He made some tough decisions in his year, and each following mayor. We recognize mayors all naming the library after him. We named the LeVac Community Center for Mayor Jean LeVac, a full recognition of what their role and responsibility has been to the city. They give their heart and soul 24/7, meetings all over the place. They can't go shopping, they can't go anywhere without being seen. And it's our responsibility to see that they are attracted to the city, the best and the brightest. I had the privilege of putting the 4-year mayor on the ballot, and I got the 1,500 signatures. And a 4-year mayor is an onerous, very difficult responsibility. We wouldn't want a turkey in there for 4 years. Fortunately, we have an eagle. I believe we have an eagle. So we need to make sure we attract the best and the brightest with the salary to compensate that situation. They give a lot of time from their family, going to numerous meetings throughout the whole year, not just an election year. And I've had the privilege of following all the mayors from LeVac, because I ran for the school committee back during the LeVac administration, and all the way down to Mayor Driscoll. They're everywhere. Their signature statement is everywhere. We may not agree with every single program or idea, but their signature statement is everywhere. And I think Mayor Driscoll will leave a great legacy for the city of Salem, and I hope we all support this measure. I wish it was more. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Famico, then Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd first move to amend this to have it start effective on the first calendar day after inauguration in 2018. I'm not sure how the mayor's salary works, but that way we're starting fresh with the position.
Thank you. I have no problem with that friendly amendment. I don't know if other members of the committee have an issue with it, but I don't have a problem with that at all, just to change it. Effective, say it again?
Effective the calendar day that follows inauguration 2018.
And then the same thing for 2019?
The next year would be exactly 1 year later. I guess, or it would be swearing in, depending on how it's phrased, Madam Clerk.
And just to clarify, Councilor Durant, on your motion, that's for first passage, right?
That is for first passage.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I just have 2 things to add, and then for that.
Okay.
And then I'd also just like to add with this that this everyone does remember. And I will say I'm retiring from city council when I say this, but when we're affecting the mayor's salary, it does affect city council. But I think something that we really need to be thinking of as a council going forward for this is that we also have a school committee with a lot of responsibility who has a substantially less salary for being in the role. So just to take that into greater consideration as we're doing this and going forward with other conversations that those need to be had as well, because our schools are a huge part of our budget, a huge part of our future, and a lot of responsibility.
Thank you. Councilor Epley.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. On the friendly amendment that was just addressed, I would suggest that on the friendly amendment that was just suggested by the good Ward 2 counselor, I would just offer a suggestion on that it should actually be Inauguration Day for the new mayor, or new term for the mayor, and that the subsequent years, that would actually be January 1 of each year for budget purposes.
Great.
That would be my suggestion to the chair. In regard to the counselor's salary, the good Ward 2 counselor stole a little bit of my thunder, which I appreciate. I wish that I had more counselors who were on board with my suggestion since I've gotten into this chamber, and that is that we actually have a separate vote on council pay rather than having it be an automatic raise whenever we raise the mayor's pay. But that's not the will of this body. But I hope that in future years, whether I'm here or other people are here, that that's something that the council then takes up. That being said, I'm in favor of the raise for the mayor. I think that the good at-large counselor is correct in saying that in terms of attracting the best and the brightest, that we do need to do that. And in comparison to a lot of the other cities and towns that were provided as part of the salary survey that our Human Resources Department put together, the $150,000 lies pretty squarely in the middle of most of the cities and towns, and certainly ahead of, behind, I should say, some cities like Marblehead, Somerville, for example, at $180,000 for their mayor. I would also note that in Somerville, this is a part-time position for a counselor that they get paid $40,000 a year. I hope that we never get to that point in the city of Salem, because a part-time position does not deserve $40,000 a year. I'm a little hesitant on voting yes on the mayor's salary. I will vote yes tonight, but I'm a little hesitant in doing so because that will increase the counselor's pay up to $13,500 for the first year that they're in office in this next term, and that in the second year it will be $15,000 a year. That seems a little high to me, but I'll respect the will of the body in voting separately, that not to vote separately, and that we vote it all as one package.
Councilor Terrio, Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Madam President. This is something we looked at last, I believe it was 3 years ago, that this body looked at when we chose to raise the mayor's pay from the $100,000 it had been capped at for quite some time to the $120,000 it is today. You know, I look at this number, and I've looked at the salary surveys, and yes, having the CEO of the city, I absolutely agree with the position, or the statement that the mayor is effectively the CEO of your city, a multi-thousand person employer with many different departments, many different responsibilities, and you want to be able to. It's not so much. My thinking of this pay is not so much thinking about what directly we're paying the person who's doing the job, and I've had this discussion with lots and lots of people over the years. I feel like you need to pay a sufficient amount to the mayor of the city that people who could otherwise make that kind of money or more in the private sector would be willing to step up and do the job. I think that's incredibly important. A person with the skills to be an effective mayor of a city this size, or larger for that matter, is somebody who's going to make $150,000, make $175,000, make $200,000 in the private sector. Pretty much at any company of any comparable size is going to pay well over that amount to their president and CEO. So within that context, I think this is reasonable. Had I had a committee vote on this, I know the will of the body, I think, is probably pretty clearly towards where this is. I think I would have proposed somewhat smaller increases, probably $10,000, and maybe in staggered years. I think that would still be reasonable, even though the salary, I have no inherent objection to the salary. I just worry a little bit about making large jumps. We did a jump a few years ago of $20,000. Now we're doing 2 jumps of $15,000. I would prefer to pace that a little differently. The other thing that we do need to sit down and probably put this in to take a look at within finance is, at this point, our own pay. Our salary has been, in the days of the $100,000 mayor and even the $120,000 mayor, I think that is a perfectly reasonable amount of pay for the job that we do here as city councilors. I don't want to demean the work that we do, and most of the people in this room, most of the city councilors in here do put in a lot of hours into that job. Everybody here works very hard at the job, and in some cases they work harder than they work at this than they work at their day job. So I don't think our work itself is something that we should devalue in this sense. So I don't have a problem with the linkage itself, because it's a way to make us step back and take a deep thought about whether we're going to raise the mayor's pay or not, because we know it has an effect on us, and we know that there's, in a sense, a political price to pay for being willing to support something like this. So I support the linkage still, but now we're starting to get to the level where I would like us to sit and take a look at what that linkage should be, whether that percentage should remain the same as it is now. Maybe we should be turning that to an 8% or a 9% or whatever is appropriate. There's nothing inherently wrong with our pay going up a little bit too, but I think we're starting to step into the territory where it's more than it should be.
Thank you. Councilor Finico.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to go up to what the Ward 4 councilor was just saying, I was not with his storm beforehand at all, because of the very outlook of this is when you're adjusting it. I think at the time the city council did need the pay adjusted. It had to go up at that time, but I think now it's going up, and even if there was that percentage that we took from what each of us would gain and put that towards going back to the school committee, but to the school committee, it's putting value into that as well. I think this position is worth the money that the city's putting into it now. You're attracting great talent. If we're already even looking at the elections that are shaping up in Salem this year, there's a lot of people stepping to the table who are looking to serve, who in the past weren't into it as much as now. And so I think we're there as far as the city council. I'd like to have us look elsewhere for this, and I'm on board with what our Ward 4 councilor has been rallying for quite some time at this point. And I thank him for sticking to that and look forward to those discussions.
Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. I think that the mayor's job is a very difficult job, and I think that it takes many, many hours that I don't think most people can work those kind of hours. I think that the big concern, though, is that where we know that local aid is going down and that we have to fill these budget shortfalls, and where we don't have a budget in front of us yet to approve or to review, I think this is premature. And I can't, as much as I respect the role of the mayor and I respect the hard work that goes into being the mayor, I can't support this.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank the at-large councilor. For 10 years, he keeps bringing this ordinance in every 2 years, so this is like the 4th or 5th time I've seen this. And the role of the mayor, whoever he or she may be, is a very difficult and challenging role, and I agree with everything that's been said. But with regards to the budget, the way we're phasing this in, for this fiscal year budget, it's only a $7,500 hit, because it's half a year's budget, because it's coming in January. So for the first fiscal year, it's $7,500. So the next fiscal year, it's the 15, and then after that, it's the additional 15. And I'm going to show my age, but for anyone who's on the finance committee has this in front of them, which is the monthly financial report, all they have to do is look at the cover sheet. Any of those line items that are on this cover sheet, when I started 10 years ago, didn't exist. $5,863,000 in stabilization fund. When I started, zero, or close to it. Capital outlay. We didn't account for things that way. Capital outlay was like all of a sudden you need something, you try to find a way in the budget to buy something. We didn't have a capital outlay account. Retirement stabilization. If someone retired, we were scrambling into free cash in order to figure out how we were going to pay the retirements, because we didn't allot for it. Now we do surveys. We anticipate when retirements are going to happen so we can budget accordingly, so we don't get blindsided by something, so we're not prepared. OPEB liability. If we had all night, I could explain to you what OPEB liability is, but we were one of the first ones that actually started funding this. We take a percentage of the free cash when we roll it back in, and we actually put it towards that. Other communities don't even have that. That's one of the biggest unfunded liabilities that any municipality is going to have coming down the road, is the OPEB liability, and we're already moving in that direction. So And at our last meeting, because of our fiscal responsibility and how we do things, the mayor's office and this body, the way we've been conducting business in my 10 years and the 2 previous years when the mayor started prior to I started, when you look at the budget, because we get awards for this budget every year for the way it's presented, for transparency, our bond rating went up so much that actually, because when we rebonded our bonds just recently, we saved ourselves $1 million. So we're doing the right things. And if we want to attract the right person to be in that office, whoever he or she may be, right now it's our current mayor, but whoever that person will be down the road, they're going to come in on solid footing, but they're going to have a groundwork to work with it, and you're going to need someone who's the best and the brightest. And I think that the way this is going to be phased in, a small amount of money the first fiscal year, then budget for it accordingly, I think we have that ability, and I think I agreed with the at-large council coming out of committee, and I'm going to support it tonight, because I think that's the right thing to do.
Any further discussion? Councilor Fumiko.
One more thing, Madam President. So I think it's good to highlight this is the position and not the person. And it's like that with any decision we're making with salaries. You need to think of what's the job, what would somebody in that position be doing for task, and what are you doing with the day for day that. I just have a question that maybe the Ward 6 councilor might know the answer to. Whereas this is an ordinance, does it become like a contract in this sense, or could it be amended at any point if, the city were to fall in tough times? So that's the first question. Maybe, I don't know if you talked about it. And the second question, even though it's set by ordinance, could a mayor decline it or ask for a lower salary if they deemed that it would help the city out for other budgetary matters?
Yes, and yes.
Councilor
Councilor
President. So where this is part of the charter, we have to do this every 2 years. I know that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Mayor Yusevich that did it one time. He declined it. So it is possible for a mayor to decline it. And did you have another question? Was there another part of it?
That can be adjusted not by calendar year or two. Could say they decided one year they started to, and then come your fiscal year or whatever, or if all of a sudden unforeseen things are happening someplace, could it be adjusted?
See, that actually is a good question, and that's something that I would have to speak to the finance director about. But I don't know that has ever happened in the past. So that is something that I could find out from the finance director.
And I know, once again, once you've set the budget, you know what's going on in the upcoming years and reserved funds, but. Yeah. Okay.
Councilor Ripley.
Thank you, Madam President. I think an answer to that question of whether we can revisit the issue, it's an issue of, I'm not sure it's a charter issue or an ordinance issue, but it's certainly a rule of the council issue. If we've addressed something in 1 year, we can't revisit it in the same year unless we suspend the rules.
Councilor Fumiko?
Okay, so even with revisiting it, if this goes forward with a certain portion of it happening in 2018 and another part in 2019 after the calendar year, so for the next calendar year, could you then basically take back that second phase? So it'd be a new year, not suspending the rules, but it would already be in motion.
Councilor Sargent hasn't spoken yet. He'd like to speak.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe, just to go on that quickly, once it's in the ordinance, it would have to be up to the mayor to change it, to decline it. One time through the years, Mayor Yusevich lowered his salary from $85,000 to $80,000, and the city council, got lowered, to 10% of that. So, with that in mind, I believe the people who put the 10% for the city council pay of the mayor's salary, I thought it's worked well. It's worked very well. When you look at the salaries, the legislative body, the 11 of us, are about equal to the executive side, the mayor's salary, and that's about fair. We're part-time, but the 11 of us together put in a lot of hours, and I won't speak for myself, but I know everybody else in here that I'm looking at works very hard. I know the hours you all put in, and the meetings you all attend, so I believe you deserve the salary that you get for it. And first 15 years I was on the council, that worked well because the salary went up $500 over 15 years. That's $30 a year. Now, who in any kind of fiscal, evaluation could say that's, oh, bless you, that's overspending. $30 a year. So that tells me that ordinance works well. And look at the other side. Somerville gets 22% of the mayor's salary. So if they were at 10%, they would be getting, what, $18,000 instead of $40,000 for part-time. That might still be a little bit too much, but we aren't doing what Somerville did, and we're getting a small raise when the mayor gets a raise. So I believe that the ordinance is working well, and many cities and towns have it. Now, as far as the mayor's salary, I just think looking at 12.5% per year for 2 years, that's a lot, you know, for a salary raise. If we hadn't done it in 10 years, like we hadn't in a long time, the last time we did it, it'd be one thing, but it's been only 3 years. And all the people paying the taxes that pay our salaries and the mayor's salary and all the bills, they're getting 2 to 3% a year raise. Most of people get about 2.5% a year if they get one. Some people don't get a cost of living raise a year. So how do we explain to them that we're going to give somebody a 12.5% raise? We could review this once a year, every other year, and like I suggested in committee, give a 2 or a 3% raise. That way it won't be a situation where we'll wait 10 years and then give a large raise and make it look like it's too much of a raise when averaged over so many years it's not that big. But I would support a 2 or a 3% raise, but I can't support a 12.5% raise 1 year and then again the next year, especially with a budget shortfall coming. Mayor Yusevich, when we ran into some tough times, he came walking in and said, I want to lower my salary. It was $5,000. It might have been symbolic for the size of the budget, but that was good leadership, and the people really, there was a lot of talk about that, and the people understood what he was trying to do. So we all know in government service, we're not here for the money. We have to pay our bills and pay our kids' tuitions and college loans and all those things we have. But we're not here for the money like we would be in the private sector. Private sector, you look for the job and you look to move up and make the most money you can. Here, I mean, it's good to make money, but that's not the main reason we're here. So I say 2 or 3% I could support, not 12.5%. Thank you.
Council Dibble, Council McCarthy, Council Repley.
Thank you, Madam President. Being a member of the Administration and Finance Committee, having looked at this for the last 3 weeks or more, I rise to support this. And I thank the good at-large council for bringing this forward. Thank you, Council Fury. Thank you. Not the mayor, but the office is underpaid for what is needed to help Salem run. And you rattle off the hospital, the power plant, the university in Ward 7, on and on. It's a busy job. And somehow this mayor finds the time to get it done, but also finds time to do other things. And again, I worked for the city for almost 16 years back in the 80s and 90s, and this mayor puts the time in. The previous mayors also put the time in. So not only does this position need a significant raise in pay, this mayor for the work, and often we're on two different sides of the fence, we're debating things, and I vote against her occasionally, or I do additional research and oppose her and ask for things to be changed. I think she's doing a phenomenal job, and I support this. I think it's an appropriate amount. I think everybody sitting here at this table, all my fellow councilors would agree that she's working, she's available. Last weekend, we talked several times over the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. Yesterday morning, she's talking to me. Last night, she was talking to me. She's texting me this morning before City Hall opens. She talked to me today for 40 minutes while she drove from Reading back to Salem. She is working. She's putting the time in, and she deserves this raise.
That's why I
and the
can't get a
position
hold
needs
of
this raise as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ryan, Councilor McCarthy.
No, I'm all set.
I can support this. Actually, I think the mayor position should be the highest paid person in the city. They're in charge of everything. This is a lot, and every time we do this, it just seems like a jump. And then tying the councilor's pay, I think there's got to be a way to unhinge that, but there's got to be a better way to do it, because some councilors, I mean, there's other benefits that you can get. If you get health insurance, you get more of a benefit as a councilor. It costs more to the city to have that councilor than it would someone who doesn't. There's pensions, other stuff like that. And that was one of the big issues we had with the school committee, why their pay didn't get it because if they hit a certain level, it would have triggered those benefits, which I think they're entitled to it if the council's going to be entitled to it. I think the school committee needs to be looked at. But the mayor, the position, if you're forming a corporation, you want the head of the corporation, they should be, maybe, if they're not the highest, they should be up the top. They shouldn't be sitting at a table with people that are below them that make more money. And that's got to look throughout the whole city, too. But I can support this. I think it is a big jump, but with looking at the other salaries, it's still in the bottom. Like, there's town managers that make, there's some that make $200,000. I mean, you really can't look at the police and the fire, the police with the details and stuff. That just everything's off on that one. But as far as like the straight salary, I think the mayor of a city is the CEO of like the corporation. They should be one of the highest paid people. I mean, they don't do it for the money, but it would attract more people that who would not consider it, but now might consider it because it's where it should be. And then again, we're in government, so that's another thing.
Counselor McCarthy?
I'm all set,
Did you?
thank you.
Okay. Counselor Famico?
Final thoughts for this with the connection back to our pay. So back in 2014, council had 10,000, 2015, 10,000. Starting last year, 12,000. If this goes up the following year, that's 13,500, and then the year after, 15,000. So that's a jump between 2014 and 2017 of $5,000. So when we're looking at these salary reports and how one thing affects another and where you're looking at your budget from one year to the next and what's happening, I'd say that's quite a jump within a 5-year period, or within a 4-year period, I guess.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On Counselor Gerard's motion as amended for adoption for first passage, all those in favor?
It'll be
All
a roll
those-
call, isn't it? Money?
Yeah. Did you want a roll call?
It's
The
ordinance.
salary ordinance.
Was that a call for a roll call? Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Counselor Terrell?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
No.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
No.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of amending the ordinance relative to the mayor's salary, we have 10 councilors voting, 8 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, 1 absent. The matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, March 23rd, 2017. The Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of the city implementing an open checkbook for finances, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion? Councilor
Thank you,
Gerard.
Madam President. Really no discussion. It's still in committee, and we're going to schedule another meeting with some department heads to discuss this further.
Great. Any further discussion? On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Councilor Fury, will you take the
Yes, please.
chair, please? Thank you.
Our president wishes to recuse herself, so I will take the opportunity. Madam City Clerk?
Communications from city officials. City solicitor submitting for the city council's approval an order approving a Massachusetts conflict of interest law exemption for Mayor Driscoll to serve as the Commonwealth of Mass Department of Housing and Community Development appointee to the Salem Housing Authority with a term to expire February 1st, 2021.
Councilor Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this should be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Under discussion?
On discussion, I don't know. I mean, I think if she wasn't the mayor, I think she would be a great person to be on that board, but the fact that she's the mayor of the city and she appoints the other members on the board, it's a real problem for me. Like, if she's she could appoint herself to the Park and Rec Commission. I mean, why do we even have people? I mean, she didn't appoint, the governor appointed her, but still, she appoints the other members on the board. So I'd like to see this in committee so we can all discuss it and get it back by the next meeting, which is April 13th, I think.
Any further? Seconded by Councilor Sargent. Any further, Councilor Chiliot?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't, this is fine going into committee for discussion. I honestly, after looking at this fairly hard, I have no problem with moving forward with it either. This is the state appointee position, not a city appointee. And I can say from my own personal experience, I have several Salem Housing Authority properties within Ward 5. I deal with issues there. I deal with conflicts there regularly. And one thing that we've had with the Housing Authority over the years that I've been on the council, that we've had some issues with jurisdictional stuff. We've had areas where the Housing Authority, and the best example I can give you is the parking lot that's off Saltonstall Parkway at the end of Leach Street, or sorry, not Saltonstall Parkway, Lafayette Place, that's across from Pioneer Terrace. And that's something where the actual responsibility for that has never been clear. Usually, I've still, after 5 years, don't have a clear answer as to who owns it, whether it's the Housing Authority or it's the city. The city has been taking care of it because we can't get the Housing Authority to take care of it, even though there's opinions that it's their responsibility. So I think having the mayor serving directly on the Housing Authority board, I think gives us more of a direct voice there, gives us more oversight. It doesn't affect the actual management of the day-to-day operations of the authority at all, but it's a way to make sure that we have more of a seat at the table of what they're doing and how they interact with the rest of the city. So I think this is positive. I'd also note that this is something that actually the state wants us to do. It's not a case where the mayor said, hey, I want to do this too. This sounds like fun. This is a case where the Department of Housing said, the Mass Department of Housing said, we think this is something you should be doing, and the governor agreed and appointed her to do so. So I think that's an important factor here. So there's not that much of a conflict really, other than in name, for the mayor to do this. But I think this will be ultimately, and if the will's to go to committee, that's fine. But I think this is something that will make the Housing Authority a little bit more accountable within the city and help it work with our own city resources.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, have no problem with it going to committee, but I will say that the governor did appoint the mayor, and it's not about the appointment, it's about the conflict. And the conflict is the fact that the mayor receives a salary to be the mayor, and because this position, it's a quasi-state agency. The Salem Housing Authority is not run by the city of Salem. It says Salem, oh, sorry about that. I'll stand back. Get on my ring on today. The Salem Housing Authority isn't run by the city of Salem. So the conflict is the fact that that position is some sort of compensation that goes with it. Much like this body a few years ago, the examples I was just looking at it, the examples that come in my head. A few years ago, when the pool up at Forest River needed someone who was licensed in order to check the chemical balance in the pool every day, the person that the city hired to do that was a firefighter, because he had all the certifications. Because his conflict was he already has a job with the city and he was looking to take on another job, even though part-time, it was just a part-time job for the summer, his name had to come in front of us because he had a conflict, because technically, the way the rules are written, your conflict is if you hold one job and you're taking another job that's compensated, then you have to, for purposes of conflict, you have to declare the conflict. That's all this is. Much like, and the other one I could think of, and I know there's more, was Tom St. Pierre a bunch of years ago when he was, because he's the building inspector, he was eminently qualified to be an assistant harbor master for the summertime because he had all the certifications. He too had to come in front of us for the conflict. So the conflict isn't about the appointment because she was appointed by the governor. The conflict is that we're declaring that we know there's a conflict, and I'm not really sure what the conflict is because we as a city aren't paying her. It's through the authority, so I'm sure that all, I mean, it's the committee, we can work it all out, but the conflict is the fact that it's not the fact of her appointment, because she was appointed by the governor, it's the fact that the positions in the city of Salem, and even though it's not funded by the city of Salem, I think they're just being overly cautious to make sure all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed, because it is a compensated position. We just have to recognize the fact that it is compensated and that we know that she's taking it. And that's what our role is. It isn't whether debate whether or not she should be appointed to this position. She has been appointed. The conflict is the monetary amount, and that's what it's about. So I have no problem talking about this in committee.
Thank you. Councilor Lepe?
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually have a question. I don't know if anyone has the answer to this, but based on our conversation that we just had a little bit ago on the mayor's pay and passing that, there was a question as to whether or not the mayor can decline or a raise or what have you. My question, though, on this debate is, can the mayor decline the state pay, and would that eliminate the conflict?
That I don't know.
Good question. Councilor Chorio?
Hey, Mr. President, if there's no objection, I'd like to ask for a suspension of the rules because we have a longtime member of the board here in the room, and if nobody objects, I'd like to ask Mr. Boris to come up briefly so we can just find out a little bit more about what the compensation is. And this may save us the trouble of going to committee after we hear from him, or we still may go there. So
I appreciate that. Any objection? Hearing no objection, Mr. Boris, please. Thank you for your service to our city.
yes. So thank you. The question I had is, what is, if any, the compensation for being on the board?
It's a quarterly stipend that all equally 5 members receive. It's under $800 a quarter, or somewhere around $3,000 per annum. It's based on a percentage of a certain type of housing and percentage of that under state law. And you can refuse, I don't think any members have, but you can refuse the stipend if that.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions to Mr. Boris? Councilor Dimble?
No, thank you, thank you, Mr. President. I had the privilege of serving with Mr. Boris 30 years ago on the original recycling committee. You forgot to mention that at the beginning of tonight's meeting in your history. So thank you for your service to the city over the last whole bunch of decades and to the Housing Authority. I just want to point out that I look forward to discussing this issue in committee. I think the mayor will bring a heck of a whole lot to the board at the Housing Authority, and would probably like working with John Boris over there as well, as I did 30 years ago. But one thing that we're forgetting about this is that should the mayor become a member of the Housing Authority, she'll replace Bill Lester, my friend, who I ran against in the last election. And Bill put a lot of hours and a lot of years into helping the Housing Authority, and I would like to go on record as thanking him for his years of service to the Housing Authority.
On top of that, I would like to see a city seal be sent to him, if I may. Would you consider a city seal of appreciation for him serving on the board?
Yes, thank you, I will.
Thank you.
A motion that a city seal be presented to Bill Lester for his hard work and service to the Housing Authority.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor? Thank you very much. Councilor Famico?
Thank you, Mr. President. Another part with this, I am interested into that theory of looking into the pay, but to tie in with that, I'd say with Governor Baker, he has been reevaluating how a lot of different structures are working and everything from transportation to local towns and the interaction, everything in between. So I think part of this, it's also an interesting experience for Salem to have a mayor that's already overseeing other public entities be able to look at public housing. It really gives a board vote and someone that can be on the grounds rallying for things such as age-friendly Salem, looking at universal design and upgrades, and just connecting what our housing needs are. We keep talking about, where Salem's getting older and everything, but there's really no place for people to go right now. And as also there are people that are getting older that they can't afford to sell their homes and to find a condo or a downsize. There's really nothing on the market. The things that are on the market aren't close by to places. And it actually ends up that people, as a result, are lonely. That was actually the #1 thing that came up in Salem's age-friendly survey. So I think to be able to have a mayor that's already driving, looking at our housing needs, to be able to leverage and really know the ins and outs of how the system works, how we can maybe apply for CPA funds, really gives us a leg up on this. And perhaps it's a way even for the governor. As I said, he was looking through different ways of doing things that in Salem, he's kind of starting here and connecting into our World Health Organization, age friendliness, and our AARP, and it's just everything's really aligned. So I look forward to future discussions with this when it goes to committee, but I think it's a great opportunity. And I will thank Bill Lester as well. I always enjoy his takes on different things. He's a very active voice online, and sometimes you look at it and he stands up for what in his gut he feels is right and his values, and I admire that in him.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly, I'm actually in strong support of this, that I think that this is a fantastic opportunity to have the mayor serving on the Salem Housing Authority, and the fact that the governor had appointed her and asked her to do this, I think that speaks volumes. So when it does come out of committee, I would definitely will be in favor.
Hearing no further discussion on the motion by Councilor Lyon, seconded by Councilor Sargent, that it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted as the committee of the whole. All in favor? All opposed? So moved. Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mr. Royce. Thank you very much.
Petitions.
We have a petition from Light Tower Fiber Networks LLC to install a conduit at the intersection of Central and Essex Streets to the building located at 209 Essex Street.
Hearing ordered, April 13th, 2017. Further petitions.
We have license applications for public guides, taxi operator, and vehicle for hire operators only.
Councilor Ryan.
Move granted.
Councilor Ryan moves that these be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Further discussion on Councilor Ryan's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have license applications for Seaworm and Tag Day.
Councilor Ryan.
Move refer to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion on Councilor Ryan's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 3 claims and 1 subrogated claim.
Councilor Ryan.
Move refer to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs.
Any discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion on Councilor Ryan's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 3 constable bonds.
Councilor Ryan.
Refer to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, and return to approval.
Any discussion
No discussion.
on Councilor Ryan's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Unfinished business. Councilor Gerard.
We have second passage of an ordinance, traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Tremont Street.
Thank you. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for second and final passage.
Any discussion?
No.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Councilor Famico.
It's a point of personal privilege. Just want to remind the folks at home to, if you haven't checked it out yet, we have the Imagine Salem initiative happening right now. Imagine Salem, it's an opportunity to give your input in transportation, housing needs, and jobs. You can get information at imaginesalem.org or on Facebook. They also have an Instagram handle, so all over the map. Those are, it's basically a chance to make sure if you want to fill out a survey letting us know where you want us to be by the time we have our birthday, coming up in about 20 years?
10 years.
10 years, oh my goodness.
9 years.
I'm trying to give us more time. And it also gives us an opportunity to know what you're wanting. A lot of times when we're deciding city decisions, we base it on what we're hearing from people. So there's an opportunity to take a survey there. Also, if you'd like, we're having people host different events. My friends and I had an Imagine Salem brunch a few weeks back. One person had the cards, we made it a potluck. People brought it in the morning, we had something to eat, and then responded and it got some great conversation and had us talking about what we think of our surroundings, what we'd like to see improved, and also some things that we'd like to see. So once again, that's Imagine Salem. Please help us out. There's about another few days of this. It might go a little into April. And after everything's compiled, the results will be shared with the community. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Sargent, Councilor Dibble, Councilor Turio.
Thank you. If I could, please, on a serious note, I forgot at the beginning of the meeting, but we had had a terrible accident at the fire station on Loring Avenue, and a man named James Kennedy was killed on the work and on the job. And getting the station ready to rededicate for our beloved Councilor O'Keefe. And also had a Watertown firefighter and a young state trooper, 31 years old today, passed away, whose name hasn't been reported yet. And the firefighter and the trooper will get a send-off with a lot of pomp and circumstance, but the average working man doesn't. And they're all equally important. Here's a guy just going to work every day, working hard, paying his taxes, supporting his family, and he didn't come home. So I would just ask for a moment of silence for those three gentlemen, if we could, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Dibbles, Councilor Terrio.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I echo the thoughts of our good at-large councilor on the Loring Avenue Fire Station. That was echoed throughout the entire city when, unfortunately, Mr. Kennedy passed away. My heart goes out to he and his family. Just like to bring to everybody's attention here in the room and those that are listening at home that on Saturday, April 1st, this will be my 24th year running the City of Salem Youth Chess Championship. Grades K to 5 are all eligible. April 1st, 9 o'clock in the morning at the Salem Public Library. Also, the City of Salem Cribbage Championship for all you adults. Saturday, April 1st, 2 o'clock p.m. at Winter Island. Hope to see you all there.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a point of personal privilege. Also on April 1st, but not, well, to some, not as exciting as chess or cribbage, the city will be having our annual First Muster celebration at, and the schedule, you can get the schedule of events online on the Salem website, or I think we've sent out information to a lot of people that's been posted in the paper. I think posted in the paper. Most of the city councilors who are online have posted it online as well, or are doing so. And it starts with ceremonies at around 9 in the morning, continues on with a ceremony at the Old Armory Park at 10 o'clock, and then a march down to the Salem Common. It's historic because basically the United States Army, what is now the current National Guard, started here in Salem. The first time our troops mustered to face a threat was here in Salem, and that is where the lineage of our National Guard comes from. And I think the fact that we commemorate this every year is a wonderful thing in the city. And for those who haven't been to it before, it's a pretty spectacular event. We have actual troops, we have reenactors, we have veterans contingents, and they all come down, and car alarms go off all around the city when the howitzers fire on the common, and the horses trot through, and it's a really neat event that commemorates our heritage as as the place where so many things started in this country. And I hope everybody can make it down to the common. Some years it's incredibly well attended, and some years less so. I hope this is one of the better years.
Thank you. Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a quick point of personal privilege. That Saturday from 8 to 12 is the quarterly e-waste day at the high school. So bring your e-waste and get there early. Don't be like me and get there towards the end and not be able to drop off your waste.
Anyone else? Councilor Fury?
Madam President, motion to adjourn, please.
Councilor Fury moves for adjournment. We are adjourned.